Hi, I'm Pam with All Nations. Last week I shared with you how, in response to a question about hypocrisy, we could share the story of Jesus and the tax collector from Luke 18. And I promised you a true story this week of somebody who really did share that story with somebody else in real life. This is the story of James, who was participating in our church planting experience training here in Kansas City, where I live. He was also working at Starbucks at the time, and as they were learning stories in class, Jesus stories from the Bible, James would share them with the people that he was serving and working with at Starbucks. And one day, one of his coworkers had read a story on the internet about a pastor who had fallen from grace. And she said, "Aren't all churches just full of hypocrites?" And James responded by saying, "Jesus didn't like hypocrites either." And he began to tell that story of the Pharisee and the tax collector from Luke 18. And as he got halfway through the story, his coworker said, wait. And went over to grab another coworker and said, "You have to hear this story. This story is amazing." So James had the opportunity to tell the story to both of them. And then they ended up having a good conversation about how their own hearts could respond to God, rather than a conversation about hypocrisy and a church that's certainly not perfect. They got to have a conversation about their own heart. You see, as we help people to focus on Jesus and the stories of Jesus, we can help move the conversation into that great good news of who Jesus is. We can help them in the midst of all the different struggles that they have. Who do you know this week who's in a struggle, in a difficult situation, who needs to hear the great good news of a story about Jesus and from Jesus?